How about some spring intel? We got camps opening all across the country. They're open in Clemson. Running back, question. Not a weakness, but a question. So Phil Moff is gone, and yet most of us are looking at Clemson saying, I kind of like what they're bringing in 2025. I think they could maybe make some noise in 2025. Those words have come out of my mouth. However, God invented spring because there is no perfect team, and so we got to figure out some relative question marks. For example, at the tailback position, they're moving Adam Randall from wide receiver to running back. Now, my hope, their hope, everyone's hope is you pair him with Gideon Davis, true freshman, already kind of turning heads there, and you know, fingers crossed, knock on the fake wood on the set. We suffer no injuries. We hold that together. That makes a solid backfield for us. Love, 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 as much as I have in a long time, where they are at offensive line at Clemson. Love that. I love that Matt Luke is there. Matt Luke has been as good an infusion of energy and new ideas and fresh perspective and just great DNA for that program as anything they've done around there in quite a while. And that's not even to mention his impact in the offensive line room. That's just Matt Luke, the guy. Matt Luke, the person. I think people say human being too often, so the person, whatever. Matt Luke, the human being. We like it. And also the effect he's having on that offensive line room. Now remember, kids, they also added Tom Allen as defensive coordinator. You most recently saw him at Penn State. And Dabo the other day was talking about one of the things that Tom Allen's got on his plate, and that is to find depth in the cornerback room. I don't know if you saw it. This is like a legacy quote for Dabo Swinney. Dabo's had many, many great quotes, but I'm going to read this to you. I will not do it in Dabo's voice. I would do it disservice, but I'm just going to read the quote. Pretend this is your grammar teacher talking to you. Ain't none of them are ready to play. Thank God we don't play right now. They've all got a ways to go. In every area, name one, name it, that one. That group ain't anywhere near good enough. I hope y'all print that. Well, I asked Jesse, I asked Colin, we do not run a newspaper. We have suspended our magazine subscription service that never got off the ground. We can't print anything, but we can read it. What a Dabo legacy quote. So again, we're in spring. Everyone's supposed to have questions, but Tom Allen, a little ways to go, it feels like, in the corner room, but that's okay. Now, meanwhile, up the road / down the road, wherever you are in the great Palmetto State in South Carolina, is also the University of South Carolina. I come bearing great news, because while we are big fans of multi-sport athletes on this show in high school, we don't like it when you get to college. This is a controversial recruiting tactic that we play at Pate State. I want you playing every sport imaginable in high school, but I'm only recruiting you for one of them. And so when you come here, I want you playing that sport. Well, Nick Harbor, you may remember, was the most recent alien that they recruited out of high school. And you probably saw track footage of him as much as you saw football footage of him. Well, the track, done. He's strictly football this spring, which is a good thing because they are in dire need in the receiver room behind him. There's not much that's proven there. I think there's still going to be a very active participant in the post-spring portal at that position. However, imagine what that means for him. When I say alien, I don't throw that word around lightly. He is 6'5", 235, runs faster than most dudes who were at the Combine last week, 2 weeks ago. He's an amazing athlete, but still has to perfect his craft, hone his craft, and he will do that because this is all he's got to focus on in spring now. Also, they added a running back there. Rasul Faison, probably didn't hear a lot about him. He was a tailback. They added him from Utah State. Okay, he's waiting on what those in the legal community call the Pavia provision, P squared for short. And that is the kind of provision where you've played like a million years of college football, but one of the years on the front end was at like a community college or a JUCO or something like that, and all of a sudden the courts are randomly finding themselves to be ruling that that shouldn't count as part of your eligibility. Diego Pavia here at Vanderbilt down the street, he just got that, so he's cleared for another year. Well, they're hoping this kid gets cleared for another year. Remains to be seen. Again, one of many reasons God invented spring. We got to develop, and we got to sort out our legal stati. It's the plural of status. Ohio State. Hey, quick timeout. Check and see if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. If you're not, I humbly ask that you click subscribe. It's free. It doesn't sign you up for anything. What it does is it helps us keep this show free so we can just do college football year-round. All right, back to the clip. What are we doing at left tackle here? Ohio State just recently won the national championship, and offensive line was varying degrees of questionable all year, but then they played great at the right time. Remember last year, although he wasn't around because he got hurt towards the end, Josh Simons, my bad, they went to San Diego State, I believe, and got him. They hit there. Okay, so did they hit again? Because one of the rules on this show is don't lose to food. But you can go take kids from food. And so Ohio State has never done the former, to my knowledge. They've never lost to Rice. May want to check me on that. But they did go get a player from Rice. Ethan here. Onyanwa is my guess on the pronunciation of the last name. 6'6", 345. We'd love for him to be down at 345 or 335. Maybe came in a little heavier than that. So that's part of the spring process for him. He was number 91 overall player in the portal cycle. I think they're counting on him to be plug and play at left tackle. I think he will end up being plug and play at left tackle. That's one of the things that we're trying to figure out there because they're losing a bunch of starters on the lines of scrimmage both ways. And offensive line obviously is half of that equation. Also, they're moving C.J. Hicks to D-end, edge. They may have a special classification for it there. Just production. It's one of those age-old things for any of these major programs. Ohio State's no different. Bama used to deal with this. Georgia deals with this. A lot of proven production goes out the door. In this case, JTT and Jack Sawyer combined for 22 sacks last year. Okay, well, they don't have a lot of returning production in that category. What they have is a bunch of really good players whose names you don't know yet. So C.J. Hicks, he's a redshirt junior, so he's been around a little while, but still, he moves different position. One new name, by the way, we keep hearing, and I'm sure the fan base up there is hearing the same thing. Devin Sanchez is a five-star corner. I don't have it in my hand. I think Jesse's holding my purse for me, but I've got some money there that I would love to go over to FanDuel and wager on Devin Sanchez with. I'm not sure there's a prop bet at FanDuel on whether or not freshmen are going to start week one or in the first month of the season or what have you, but I feel good. Feel really good. Devin Sanchez is one of the next great ones at Ohio State. Now, I don't talk a whole lot about Boston College, and I get criticized for it. So here's a little something from our buddy A.J. Black up at Eagle Insider. Bill O'Brien last year, you will remember, they won in their top 35 in returning production. And one of the reasons why we're a little sneaky high on Boston College around here is I feel good about the quarterback room. Grayson James was the guy that played for him last year, but Dylan Lonergan transferred there from Alabama. They also added Ty Lockwood, a tight end from Alabama. Feel good about him. They were one of the, scratch that, they weren't one of the, let's just call it like it is. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. Boston College was the worst punting team in college football last year. This is how deep we go in spring, immunity. We're talking about Boston College returning punting. Well, in this case, they don't want to return anything because their punting was terrible. So what they did was they went to Ohio? No. Montana? No. They went to Ireland. There was no one in the continental United States good enough to fill the void of punting at Boston College. So they went and got Andy Quinn out of Ireland or Iceland. I think I wrote Ireland. That's how bad it's gotten for me. And he's been booming them in practice. Again, I tell you, the reason we do not even speak the word off-season is because someone's got to break down Boston College's punting situation in March, the week of the NCAA tournament starting. And that show is us. So A.J. Black doing a good job gathering intel there. By the way, our buddies Austin Hannon and Corey Fravel up at Clemson 24/7. I'm telling you, our team sites, some of those guys are really, really good about getting us information. We really appreciate it. You should also know that you may not hear a whole lot out of Tallahassee this spring because Mike Norvell has gone and closed media out. He's done the opposite of what he was doing last year. Last year, I think my sister had a credential to FSU practices a couple of times, and now Mike Norvell has slammed the door in everyone's face, and I think aside from maybe one scrimmage, media is getting locked out of practice. Now, he says that this has nothing to do with them losing last year. Whatever. I don't care if it does have something to do with them losing last year. He doesn't owe me an explanation. And who knows? Maybe all media won't be locked out. Maybe some media. will find their way down there behind the curtain in Tallahassee this spring. But yeah, it looks for now like there may be changes in media policy in Tallahassee. And if they go 11-1 this year, Mike Norvell may never talk to a reporter again. You may never see the inside of a practice facility again down there.